Hey YouTube, sorry that this video is so late. I've been really busy, so this is week 24 for me, but I didn't do a week 23 vlog, so I'm going to kind of combine the two, which kind of sucks because I have kind of a lot to talk about. Week 23, I had a midwife appointment. Actually, I should talk before that. On the 21st of April, I had the most traumatic experience of my life as a mom. My daughter had an accident and she tripped and she fell and she banged in her teeth and almost lost them all, and we had to go to the hospital. She had to get stitches for her lip. Well, she was supposed to get stitches, but she would not let them near her with a needle. They tried to do like an ointment, like a lotion, like a topical cream that like froze her lip, and they waited too long after that, and then it ended up freezing and wearing off. Long story short, she had to get her lips super glued together. We had to go see an emergency dentist. By that time, we'd been at the hospital for 5 hours. She had to go see an emergency dentist. They ended up not wanting to remove her teeth. Teeth are very resilient. I was amazed. They were like right back in her mouth to the point where when she first did it and it was like blood was everywhere, I thought like if I touched her with a cloth, her teeth were going to fall right out. Because they were right back in there. But over the course of like the 4 hours, they naturally kind of started to move forward again, but they were really, really wiggly. They weren't straight. They weren't aligned properly. Like they were just mangled, and her gums were black and she was swollen. Oh, it was terrible. But the dentist decided he wanted to wait and see if they hardened up and see how everything looked after the swelling went down. And they took x-rays and whatnot, just because her teeth, from the x-rays, her adult teeth were just forming and they weren't set to drop till she was like 7. So she would have been a couple years yet before she even started losing her teeth. So they didn't want to take them out because she would just have gaps there. And it's not good for the adult teeth. It actually, when the milk teeth isn't there, he said it takes the adult teeth longer to form sometimes if the milk teeth aren't there. So then she'd have a gap for even longer. So it's been about 2 weeks now. This tooth, they're still not straight aligned. This tooth here has hardened back up a little bit. She was on like a very soft diet, like liquid and mush, basically. Back to baby basics again, you know, cutting everything up nice and small, making sure it was mashed, and we had to go out and buy her lots of snack foods that she could have that weren't crunchy for this side of her mouth. Everything's pretty much hardened up except for this, her right front tooth, and it's dead. It gets darker and darker. It's like black now. So she has an appointment next week. That's the soonest they could get her in, and she's gonna end up having to have that removed. Horrifying experience. It scared the crap out of me. Blood was everywhere and it was awful. So yes, that happened. Right before Good Friday, so she's not eaten any of her Easter candy. She hasn't been allowed to by the dentist. She could probably start eating some now because the rest of her teeth have hardened up. So I had my midwife appointment week 23 on the 26th of April. It went well. I did weigh myself then, so I gained 19 pounds. Oh. So I'm hoping that I can kind of moderate that. I chalk that up to a lot of mini eggs that I wasn't supposed to eat. And I promised myself after Easter, when I didn't have the temptation around me, that I would no longer be eating chocolate. Chocolate I'm not supposed to be eating anyways because of the caffeine. And once I'm breastfeeding, chocolate's not good. It just makes babies fussy and whatnot. So I told myself after Easter, no more chocolate. I don't normally eat chocolate and sweets when I'm not pregnant. So I'm also hoping that once I'm not pregnant, that craving kind of just goes away. Because normally sweets go bad in our house, but I've been having a really big sweet tooth with this pregnancy, which is not helping with my weight gain whatsoever. So hopefully now that I'm kind of being a little bit more strict with that it'll be a little bit more gradual. Only wanted to gain about 30-35 pounds for this pregnancy. I'm thinking that it's going to probably be like 30 to 40 if I'm 19 pounds now and like gained already 20-ish, and then I still have till August 23rd is my due date, and I gained the most with Faith in the end, like the last like trimester. So we'll see. I know every pregnancy is different. This one's been crazy different, so we'll see. At my ultrasound, they told me from my month the previously, because I'm seeing month to month right now, that my my ultrasound that I had at 20 weeks came back and everything was great. I actually have a photocopy of it in my trusty little binder here. This is my binder that I take with me to see my midwife every time. Everything's great. There's no fetal abnormality, which is wonderful. But the only thing, oh, her heartbeat was 151 beats per minute. The one thing that they did say on here, though, that was kind of a concern was that my placenta is low-lying, like where it's 1.4 centimeters from my cervix. So they're worried that, because I guess your placenta moves, it might cover the cervix, which for those of you, most of you who watch these vlogs are moms and you know, but some people are just watching for fun, and some people are just following my vlogs because they know me. So if you don't know what about that, it's basically, so picture like the womb or the uterus kind of like a balloon, and where you blow into the balloon would be like the cervix. That's how the baby gets out. That's like the bottom. And as the baby grows, the balloon expands. Well, the placenta is kind of like right beside the bottom of the balloon, like which would be the cervix. So I have to go again for another screening at 30 weeks to make sure that the placenta has moved as it gets bigger. It's kind of moved up. I guess they said 1 in 20 women have this low-lying placenta, and then when they go back for their screening, only about 1 in 400 have the low-lying, where they have to have like a C-section scheduled because the placenta's in the way. I really don't want to have that happen. I had a vaginal birth with Faith that was like such a jackpot of births. Like, oh my goodness, it was fast and quick, and like I was in at 8 in the morning. She was born by like 12:24. Some people hate me right now for saying that. It was a fast, quick. It was great. And I really don't want to have surgery if I don't have to. And not to mention, if I have to have a scheduled C-section, I have to transfer my care from my midwives to a doctor. And I really don't want to have to do that because I love my midwives. And I'm really looking forward to being in their care for this duration of this pregnancy. So wish me luck. Let's pray that that changes. Week 23, I also was really nauseous again for a weekend, over Easter weekend actually, and I was lightheaded and very faint. We were doing a lot of work around the house though. We redid the girls' room, and I think just some of that work was getting to me. I've been having crazy dreams. I had a dream that the baby wouldn't breastfeed, and I was very upset about that. In my dream, I was very upset about that. And I had leakage. My breasts on the 25th of April got really, really sore, and my nipples started to burn. I know that might be too much information for some people. I'm sorry. My nipples started to like burn, and like really badly, to the point where I was like looking through like my old baby stuff to see that if I had any nipple cream in there, which probably wouldn't have been good anyways, but it hurt. And I thought, oh, these almost feel like they're gonna start leaking or something, and lo and behold, that evening they did. They leaked colostrum, and that never happened with Faith ever. I read all about it, and I expected it to happen, and it never happened with Faith, but I feel like I'm experiencing pregnancy for the first time this time around, because my pregnancy with Faith was like a walk in the park. You know, nothing really. I had some nosebleeds, which I'll get into because I've been having them again. But other than that, you know, 1 week of morning sickness was it in the first trimester, and I've been really having a lot of symptoms that I didn't have with Faith this time around. So leakage, not fun. And then I had a Braxton Hicks contraction on the 27th of April at 11 o'clock at night, which I've never had one of those before either. I've had real contractions, obviously, but I never had a Braxton Hicks contraction with Faith. And so I had one of those, and it hurt, actually. The baby was very active, and I thought, you know, that she'd gotten really low, and to the point where she was like pushing right down in my pelvic, and it got really, like there was a lot of pressure, and I was like, ooh, she's really starting, that's really hurting. And then I realized that that wasn't her anymore, because all of a sudden it tightened up really, really hard, and I was like, oh, that feels like a contraction. And then my whole stomach just went rock hard, and it lasted for a little bit, and then it went away, and that was that, and it was fine. But